Hello, everyone. Welcome to our inaugural episode of Rising Players in the Industry here at Impact AI. We were we're here to explore the real-world strategies leaders are currently using to drive meaningful impact with AI and data. I'm your host, John Hodges. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Arjun Bidesi, someone whose work throughout his career has been nothing but remarkable, and recently is making a splash with him founding Orcana AI. Arjun brings a powerful combination of product strategy, technical depth to the data space. With Orcana AI, he's focused on data and AI platform innovation by allowing the use of natural language to deploy AI-driven solutions. But what really stands out in his ability to simplify complexity and accelerate solutions, building products that help companies cut through the noise and deliver real business value. Arjun, welcome today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction, John. This is great. I
Great.
hope I live up to the introduction, to be honest.
Oh, come on now. So, just give us a brief intro, like where you began in the industry, what your experiences were that motivated you, and what drives you now, to your present focus.
I've been in the industry for about 15 years, helping business leaders make sense out of data to know how to act. The world has been treating data as an oil for the longest time and have accumulated as much of that as possible. But very less, really small portion of that is put to use. Right from inefficiencies in making sense out of data because business intelligence was the next big wave that came from data science or data that helped in just making standard dashboards, and business leaders were always struggling with making getting insights and actionable recommendations.
Right.
So been doing this for 15 years really helped me see that this gap needs to be solved for. And with the advent of AI, a whole lot of infinite ways of probably asking a question or coming up with a need can be trickled down into a finite ways of addressing that need through scalable analytics products. And that's what was the genesis for Arcana. The goal is to ensure that if there is a question that a business leader has, whose answer relies in data, it should be as simple as asking ChatGPT and getting a response which is really fully reliable and accurate. It can't have the subtext that GPT has, which says ChatGPT can make mistakes, check in for important information before use. We can't do that if you're building an analytics or data science driven product using
Right.
AI. So we
Yep.
have obsessed on making sure that that subtext doesn't have to be there so that business leaders are actually empowered to use data confidently.
Yeah. Okay, I got you. So, what you've done several roles over these 15 years, product development, data, now AI. What first drew you to this space? Like, what experiences did you have that influenced you, and what keeps you excited about it?
Yeah, so me delving into the world of analytics and data science in 2010 was a function of core strengths back then that came naturally to me, which was good aptitude, great quantitative skills. Now, this was like a very unique way of my then company trying to just assess who can do this job of really being on top of what data is saying, what math is saying, and how do we solve in a structured problem in a very structured manner. So that's how I started my career in the world of analytics because it was a very exciting opportunity with a lot of unknowns, just first principle thinkings that needed to be put in place for every problem you solve. And that really helped me realize that this is what I want to do.
Hmm.
Want to always be solving unstructured problems with first principle thinking and having something concrete at its baseline, which is data.
Right.
So just this helped me start in 2010 in the world of analytics and data science. Last 15 years has just been how can I be much better at it? How can I do different things so that I understand and under the field itself and how it really impacts business, because only then that this field will actually be meaningfully helpful in the world.
Right. Yeah. So, I guess expanding on that, can you think of a moment? I mean, everyone has these, like a few key moments that they had to experience, whether it was painful or successful, victorious or whatever. Can you think of a moment when when data, the interpretation of data truly changed the trajectory of a product or a strategy even?
Oh yeah, totally. And this almost as a consulting company, this happens with every other project, if not every project,
Hmm.
where the problem is defined as saying, "Hey, I know the problem and we need to fix it," but almost always it's the symptom. It's not the diagnosis. It's like, "Oh, my churn is declining," and the number of times that this problem statement came to me saying, "Why are my physicians stopping to prescribe my product?" or "Why is my churn increasing?" and this is causing an issue. The first level of problem statement that they see is, oh, churn is declining because there is a problem with maybe this cohort that was maybe in this week churn declined because of this reason. But when we try and unpack why churn declined, you would be like, oh, it's coming from a particular cohort which was acquired by a particular campaign at a particular channel where the audience is probably not the best fit for your product. So you probably incentivize them with a lot higher, say, a free trial period or dollar credit, which help them get into the funnel and for you to assess them as customers, but they were not really the right ones because
Hmm.
they had a totally different demographic and they just made the use of the promotional setup going on. And these examples are so many, right? From saying, hey, we want to change the way our sales reps talk to physicians about this product because this is what is happening. And then we realize that, you know what, the problem is not even your sales reps. There is like a new article or a publication that has been released which probably talks about this drug in contrast to that drug, which is nothing to do with what your sales reps can do. If they
Right.
double down on what they are currently saying, it'll only do more harm. Switch gears, talk about this. Or reach out to these kind of physicians because they are probably more prone to accepting the new publication and still trying this drug for patients that can make the most of it because of their conditions, right? So the problem is very typically very far from the actual diagnosis. And getting to there is what we have been, as people, as data scientists and analysts, been doing for about 1.5 decade now. Now with Orcana, that will probably be more, lot more productized and like democratized instead of always doing it the inefficient way.
Right. Yeah. That is amazing. Yeah. In the medical field, that's spot on. Now solving all those, so now that you as a founder of Arcana, what challenges do you face now as a leader of those teams going out solving those problems? Now you're in that leadership role. What kind of challenges have you noticed in that?
Um, Especially when talking to customers, they either think AI can't do anything or they think AI can do everything. Like it's like a catch-all for AI is like a package that you download into your organization, and everything else is like amazing since from there. That's one, and the other is like, oh, AI is dumb. It's super dumb. It can't do anything. So please don't sell AI to me.
Ah,
The actual world is somewhere in the middle, where it is like, hey, there are aspects about AI which are good. And by AI, all of this I mean is generative AI, LLMs, etc. AI, like you and I spoke about, is has always been there. It's like I think 70 years now when the
right.
first, like operations research or optimization problem that was rolled out. But now they are like, hey, it can't do anything or it can do everything, and we like it's somewhere in the middle where it can do a few set of finite things well. Let's double down on those and then identify the things that are non-negotiably important to be done right and build something to control for those weaknesses. And that's the biggest challenge we're facing, where they're like, hey, can your product just help us reduce our CAC? And we were like, okay, so how do you currently acquire customers? They were like, everything is in the data. Can you just like hook up your AI and solve for this? And we're like, that's not how it can work. We need to know how are these levers, what exactly is your business about? How are these customers being acquired? What are they coming in for, etc. Give us some of that sense that you would otherwise be giving to a data scientist on your team, so that Orcana is then set up to say, oh, this is the reasoning part of it, which understands context. This is the math part of it, which actually emulates how your business runs. And that's how you're able to deliver impact. So, so as a leader, a big part of uh, reaching out to customers to deliver data science agentic solutions is breaking these myths, like really walking them through what is reality versus what, and everything else, which is either, oh, it's nothing or it's everything, is like a myth, is like the biggest gap we need to bridge. And that's been the exciting slash uh, borderline frustrating part too, because there's so much noise out there, everybody claiming AI. Just hook up AI within 1 hour, you can have a data scientist on your fingertips. And I'm like, sure, you can do that, be entertained for 15 minutes, and then you will say AI doesn't work. So
Right. Yeah.
that.
So, speaking of noise, so how does AI, what's the most critical role AI plays in helping the teams distill signal from noise in the like coming out of the pipelines?
So right now, the way we're thinking about the product for some of our customers is you get a news bulletin which says, hey, last week on a Monday morning, the CXOs, the VPs get a news bulletin on saying, how did their business perform last week? This is like a crisp story like setup which says, oh, these metrics went up, these metrics went down, this is the hypothesis. From there to double clicking into saying what was the problem? It was product an issue, was customer service an issue, was finance an issue, did we not bill, etc. Is used to be a 2 week affair. Now that is gone to saying you get a news bulletin on our product, you have a live analytics assistant that you can just ask questions to, saying why did this decline? Why did that change? What exactly was the root cause? Not just that, but then forward from there, extend that into saying, what if I make this change over the next remaining course of the month? What if I stop this product, make these two marketing campaigns go live, so on and so forth. So not just getting your attention, but understanding why this deserves your immediate action, and what kind of options do you have to make this impact be addressed, can all happen using AI.
Yeah.
Because natural language has become easy to understand. Unstructured reasoning, breaking a complex question into like three or five potential analytics processes, has become easy thanks to AI.
Yeah.
Everything else from there, which is now if you need to do segmentation, follow that with some maybe value analysis and then price tiering optimization, are three steps. And what to do is something that AI can help with, and our engine can help plug in all the models needed in the middle to execute them reliably. And that's where the efficiencies are coming into play, where business leaders now don't just get plots and charts, which are so many in number, but news, just the way they are used to consuming, and a way to double click into this and then be like, hey, this is what we should probably do. And that way, a whole lot of actioning becomes faster instead of the waiting game.
Yeah. So, um, what about so let's talk about the decision making. So now, or many programs, Orkana included, they're now diving, or how effective have you seen AI provide the decisions for these business makers?
Um, we did a 2 month POC with a large telecom enterprise company that runs marketing across 70 countries. What we did is we said Arcana is going to sit on top of all of your data to give you recommendations on which of these operators are working versus not working, which campaigns need to be pulled back spend wise, etc. Within 2 months, we were able to realize a monthly 600% ROI. So if they're paying X for Arcana services, they would be getting 6X of that
Yeah.
in purely savings, no other cost optimization needed. So just by giving actionable recommendations, we were able to like optimize their portfolio on a near real-time basis to make them feel to have them save that dollars for better impact. Now,
Yeah.
this has resulted in us having ongoing projects which are all KPI driven. Our goal for one of our current customers is, hey, we have never been able to meet our annual operating plan. We've made some assumptions always when we are doing the forecasting, and we've always like either digressed dramatically or just managed to keep flat, but still way far from AOP and average annual operating plan. Can you help us meet that? And that's what Orkana's goal is now for that client, which is always watching where is your annual operating plan, where are you, what changes can help you make it closer, what help changes are making it go farther away, and continuously nudging to say that, you know what, these channels are working, these countries are working, these operators working, these kind of affiliates are working for these kind of segments, and keep optimizing that, giving those recommendations, and now even acting on those recommendations to ensure that I don't have to do 20 things. Of these, five things are high stake. Give me recommendations so that human in the loop does that. The next 15, which are low stake but still like very meaningfully impactful dollar wise, go act yourself. So our success criteria as a part of these POCs is move these business metrics using your analytics and AI engine, and then we will be able to like deploy it across most other departments.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. So how on your website um you claim that Orkana AI is hallucination free. How do you and we've all run into this when working with AI. So how do you balance that AI driven automation with human judgment, in the analytic workflows?
So our product architecture is hybrid AI architecture, and it's actually quite different from Gen AI, end-to-end Gen AI or agentic solutions. End-to-end Gen AI solutions outsource everything right from a data trigger or a user input to a response generation to AI, to say LLMs in this case, right? Saying you identify the question, you infer the context, you pick whatever documents you need to run, figure out the logic, run the code, create the code, run the code, get the output. This has a lot of steps that probably AI is going to falter in, especially the code generation, code writing, reasoning part. What we have done is made a hybrid AI approach where we're like horses for courses, pick Gen AI for all unstructured reasoning and natural language, and then build an analytics engine ground up that does all the sophisticated data science and analytics workflows needed to reliably get the response out. So that way, what we have done is near perfected the intent aspect of it, which is what is the question or what is the user trigger. With 100% reliability and deterministic responses, we generate outputs because of the in-house engine that we have. And that way, we are guardrailing all possible scope of hallucination from using rows and columns of data to make sense, because that's happening in a human validated code base that we have set up and deployed for a given customer. So
Wow.
that way we are like, hey, we are not going to tell it's going to answer everything for you under the sun. It'll probably answer It'll start with answering 30 of your 100 questions your company might have, and these 30 will be all from your marketing department or growth department. Eventually, we'll go from there into, say, the operations or the finance department, and that's how it will cover a broad scope. We don't want it to right now go off the guardrails to answer any other questions because
Mm.
Orkana is not, it doesn't have the configuration or the context to answer those. So we like, let's do less, but the ones which we're doing less, let's do it perfectly for a given department, for a given use case. And then eventually we can find our ways to expand.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, that's excellent. Um, yeah, you've answered several of my questions, so you've condensed things, but that's a great overview. And what Anything new or so what's going on right now and today with Orkana?
Today with Orcana, people have stopped asking for, can I save 2 hours? To saying, you have to give me things that I wasn't able to do in the past.
Mm,
I was just not able to do in the past because it just did not make economical sense. It just did not make, we do not have the technological prowess for it. And that's what the challenging, that's what is the most exciting aspect, where we're not going to them saying, try this out, you might find it helpful, you might be able to save few hours. We're like, try this out because if you don't, you may be losing dollars on the table. And we've turned around really slow moving clients purely by doing a tiny POC for about a couple of months, configuring stuff and saying 2 months, this is what you would have made. Wait for another 6 months, you will be losing this amount. And that's
right.
what's exciting. And they're like, hey, please don't stop the work. We are getting the contract work in our place. So we've really switched the gears from being pre-revenue to post-revenue to now like really seeing a hockey stick growth in our revenue trajectory as a result of having these slow customers turn. And now there will be case studies after case studies that we'll be able to roll out saying AI that makes a difference to your business metrics, get Arcana or
Right.
losing it to other competition. And I know unsolicited question maybe John, but I'll still share what Orcana to me meant. The word. Huge fan of orcas because they're apex predators that have like really strong communication skills and strategies because
Wow.
their signaling is perfect. And analytics and orcas and analytics is how I made Orcana the word. And the way I envision companies is to have like a more centralized way of assessing a situation that is put in front of a company or a business and acting upon it in a coordinated manner with having Orcana sit as a layer of surfacing the issue, identifying the solution, strategizing, and even actioning upon them to take down much, much bigger whales that are out there in the ocean. So yeah, that's how I like put together Orcana as the name of the company.
That's really cool. I like that. That's a good question to ask. Yeah, and I didn't think of that. So that's thank you for adding that. Well, Arjun, it's been incredibly insightful. And we've from cutting through the chaos to designing smarter systems that deliver clarity and action. Your insights and experiences are going to help a lot of our listeners. So, if they want to follow your work or connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can email me directly at arjun@orcana.ai. And I'm on LinkedIn with Arjun Bidesi is my handle. Website is orcana.ai.
Wonderful. Okay, excellent. All right, and to our listeners, thanks you for tuning in to Impact AI. If today's episode gives you a fresh perspective, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and until next time, stay focused, stay curious, and keep making an impact with AI.